everybody, I'm Carla with Race to Walk, and it's time for another update. So anyway, if you've been following my Hack the Saga, there's been a crap ton of stuff going on. And I had mentioned back in May that I was at Simonka Place, which I basically went to after I fled my family who was trying to poison me. I know that sounds like a crazy thing. I just can't even believe that I know people who would do something like that, let alone being related to them. But anyway, that's the case. So anyway, I've been there. I haven't shared the whole thing, but it's just been a crazy bunch of stuff. And I really haven't said everything that's been going on because I was still there until today. And so rather than going into the whole explanation, I'm just going to read the letter that I sent to Simonka Place on Friday. So anyway, hold on, I'm going to share my screen on this, so it's going to look a little weird for a minute. Okay, so anyway, so Wednesday night, there's just been a crap ton of stuff going on. And anyway, okay, and I'll get into part of what was going on. Let me check my... Hold on, I'm just checking my... Okay. Maybe you couldn't hear me because my volume was down, but hopefully you can now. Anyway, so there was a bunch of stuff going on, a bunch of drama. I was right in the middle of, besides all the stuff that was happening related to Simonka Place, I was trying to get all my stuff moved over to a different host because Green Geeks has been like massive, it's just been a nightmare. So I was going through all that, and then I was doing a bunch of other things, and I was super exhausted. So this is Wednesday, and I come back, and then one of the case managers, Melissa, comes in and she says, Carla, there's a letter for you. And then she hands it to me. So this is 9:00 at night, and it said confidential on it, and it was unsealed. So this is what I'm just going to read, and so that you can see kind of the saga. This isn't even all of it. This is just small things that are relevant. Okay. So I wrote this on Friday because, again, I had a bunch of stuff going on, and I had to get my sites moved by the 1st because I don't want to pay Green Geeks another month for that. So anyway, got them all moved. Actually, no, I didn't get them all moved. There's a couple of my own sites that I haven't transferred yet because, not even joking, I kid you not. It is so crazy. I literally have people... Like they must have like a Slack channel or something of like, oh, hey, Carly just left. Go and get on Bus 19 and see if you can ID her and see where she gets off. And then I was at Broadway Coffee on Thursday. I'm able to transfer my files, totally fine. And then there were a couple people on that had the bus I had recognized from the TNT class at Salem Alliance. And then I don't know which one it was, but these two guys, they sat down kind of in the area where I was at. And then after that, I couldn't transfer my files. So anyway, it's like, one of the encouraging things about that is that it bothers them that I move my files. And all my sites. So that must mean that they can't hack it. I'm just hoping. Anyway, so that was Thursday. And then this I wrote Friday. And then, this is just the story. So this is August 1st, 2025, addressed to Brenda Newey, who is supposedly my case manager at Simonka Place. Their address is 5119 River Road North, Keizer, Oregon. Dear Miss Newey, on Wednesday, July 30th at 9 p.m., Melissa, who is, I don't know what she is now. They've been moving people around, and I think she used to be the case manager for families. But anyway, Melissa brought a letter addressed to me, marked confidential, yet unsealed, with the following message. Carla, your time with us here at Simonka Place is coming to an end due to non-compliance, not meeting with me, not looking for work. Your last day will be Monday, August 4th. You need to be ready to leave by 9 a.m. And I put this transcribed exactly because you can't even tell on this, but the There wasn't even grammar to it. I mean, there was horrible punctuation, mess of a letter. And at first I was thinking, this cannot be from her because this sounds like utterly illiterate. I just, this can't possibly be her. But anyway, this was my response. Okay. When I came to Simonka Place in October of 2024, when I first met with Jerry, I explained my situation, that I had been with family who had been poisoning me and who were in collusion with people who I had once considered friends, who had stolen everything I have written in the past decade and were hacking me relentlessly to attempt to cover the theft. That my family knew that I had been at the Salem Hospital in my last communication with them on October 8th, after I had explicitly told the intake hospital staff that I did not want my family to know that I was there. So anyway, this is just a side note. So, I didn't put this in there because this wasn't really relevant to this particular letter. But what had happened was the night I had been feeling really off and I had been suspecting that they were poisoning me, which I know it sounds crazy, but if you go and you look at my videos from like September to October, you can see the change because I was doing updates. You can see the change, and you can see like on October 7th when I did a live stream. Yeah, I think it was October 7th. You can just see it in my face. I have I don't know if you can see it because like my Twitter account is jacked, but I do have a video of, you can't see me, but you can hear my voice, where I had found that the losers had, this is how lame they are. I mean, I know this sounds crazy, but this is just the stuff that they do. Okay, here's the thing. I'm going to try to like watch the comments. Last time I saw that there were comments. I don't know if they didn't come through or if I missed them. But anyway, so I'm going to try to watch that. But I know I did. Oh, shoot. Here's the deal. I don't really know how to, this is Restream, and so I'm not as used to navigating this as I was StreamYard. So anyway, you could hear my voice that I wasn't like, I mean, you could just tell it was like, I was like out of breath. What they had done is they had gone into my, I have a whole folder of verses with quote graphics that I created, and they had deleted some. And normally what I do is I create like sets of a verse for different formats, right? And they had deleted all of them except for one, and it was something about, it was from the Psalms, I think, like that wealth doesn't, chasing after wealth is foolish or whatever, and they deleted it. I guess they felt called out about it. I don't know. So anyway, that's on Twitter. You can tell the change, right? So anyway, but I had been feeling really weird. I had I had eaten something and I could just feel like my arm was real shaky, and I could just tell there was a whole long list of things, that it wasn't just one thing. There was a whole long list of things besides the fact the way they were acting, which was super sketchy. So anyway, I had gone up to, I'm just going to go with this so I'm full screen, and I'll go back to the other one. I had gone up to, on Friday, whatever day that would have been, I had gone up to Vancouver to visit the Afghan family of, the two families of the kids that I had been reading with, because they had made it to Vancouver, right? So I had gone up there, and then on the way back, I was feeling so off that I stopped. And this is a big deal for me because I do not like going to doctors. And if I hadn't felt like really weird and off, I wouldn't have stopped. Like I had this, it wasn't like a COVID cough, but I had this cough for like 3 weeks. And I had fasted like for a few days because I thought, okay, well, maybe that will, I don't know. Anyway, so I went in. This is when I went into Meridian Park Hospital in Tualatin, And they basically, I thought they were going to admit me, and I talked to a counselor and told her what was going on, and she agreed that, you know, the things that I had been experiencing were really off, and that my family was not acting like people who actually cared about me. And so, anyway, I thought she was going to come back. They ended up trying to kick me out at 10:30 at night. And not only at that, but I had, so I went there sat on Friday night, and I had told them I didn't feel safe where I was, but the only option I had was to call them to come pick me up, because the hospital was like, you can't sit here. The security guard, like literally Chris R., he was literally like standing over me, like gonna kick me out if I didn't get a phone call through. And the only reason so I posted on Facebook, and I posted on my Brace Squawk Facebook page by accident, actually. But I posted there, and I also sent a text message to my parents, and then also to a group of people with Texas numbers, so they wouldn't know who they were, you know, friends. I wasn't expecting anybody in Texas to respond to me, because it was like after midnight at this point, right? So anyway, my friend Lori Hathaway actually responded, and she said, oh, so this is what happened. I send the text, and then it's waiting for a few minutes, and then my dad responds to me privately and said, who answered? Not, what are you doing in the hospital? Why are you at the ER? What's wrong? Who answered? As if to say, nobody's listening, nobody's going to come, because they thought they had my phone completely locked down. My family was the one that was mirroring it. So anyway, but my friend from Texas, Lori Hathaway, sent me a message, and she said, oh, can I send you money for an Uber? And then after that, then my dad started responding like, who is that? You know, take me out of the group. I don't, you know, just don't want I couldn't even remove him. I don't know what was going on. Maybe that was part of my jack phone. I don't know. But anyway, so my brother ended up coming picking me up. I basically rested all day Saturday because I was feeling really off. And then Sunday, I was still feeling really bad. And I just feeling weird and off. And so I went to the Methodist church here in Woodburn, and then somebody after church took me up there again. And when I checked in, my blood pressure was 180 over 89. And I have a voice recording of me in the doctor's office or meeting with the doctor when I'm saying this. Later, they actually falsified my document, changed the information on it, and I don't know. There's collusion with people at Simonka. I said it was missing, and then I told Jacqueline that, and then all of a sudden it shows up. So anyway, so that was Sunday. And then Sunday night, I had been smelling gas because my parents had this partially converted garage I was staying in. And I was smelling gas at night, and I was, again, there was so much weird stuff going on. So I slept in the living room. My mom comes in. She's like, oh, and she turns on the lights and says, oh, and then she walks out towards the garage, and the light's on for I don't know how long. And then I don't even know when she came back in. So the next morning, I was going to the Oregon State Credit Union because I had fraud charges on my card the week before, and they had canceled the card. So I was going in there to change it, right? So I didn't put all this in the letter, but I'm just saying this is what was going on. And as I was going over there, I was looking through my stuff because I put things in order. Okay, so I know where I put things, and so when I can tell when people have been going through my stuff. So anyway, my cards were all jammed in. I had a binder with all my personal documents. My pre-adoption birth certificate and a couple of other things were missing, and those were later returned. It's like, okay, we're gonna steal them so we get the information, but then we're gonna put them back. So it's like, no, we didn't really do this. This has been continual, this sort of behavior. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. So when I saw that they had gone through my stuff and that those things were missing, I sat down. I called the Woodburn police in the same police department that told me a couple months before that hacking isn't a crime. And I said, I want to make a report. These things were taken. They went through my stuff. I want to file a police report. And so at first, the first person that responded to dispatch didn't want to come out. Like, why do you want to come out? Or why do I need to come out? I said, I want you to come out so that there's a witness that I made this report. So finally somebody came out. I explained it. The guy's like, well, I can't really do anything because I can't prove that they have it. And so anyway, so that was that. So I went across the street to the Legacy Urgent Care, which in the discharge papers from the Legacy Meridian Park Hospital, they had said if I was feeling bad, go to urgent care. They wouldn't take, because I wouldn't take my blood pressure. I wanted to see what it was because it had been pretty erratic. They wouldn't take my blood pressure. They told me I had to go back to the hospital. And I'm thinking, I'm not going to that flipping hospital in Tualatin again. So did not know the bad reputation Salem Hospital had. I had no idea. If I'd known that, I wouldn't have gone. But anyway, after the Legacy Urgent Care in Woodburn refused to take my blood pressure, I just got on the bus and went down to Salem Hospital and checked into the ER, and then that started a whole other fiasco. So anyway, all of this is going on, but I left. When I left in the morning, I left like at 9 o'clock. My dad's like, oh, well, if you go anywhere, make sure you tell us where we're at. I'm thinking, nope, I'm not doing that. But I went down there, and when I checked in, I said, I do not want my family. If they come looking for me, I didn't know at the time that they were the ones that had my phone mirrored. I did not know that. So they knew where I was the whole time. But they had, I think they must not have figured out. I have this, a binder that after I started getting hacked, I wrote down all of my passwords and my backup codes and everything. And they must not have figured out right away that they had, when they went through, I think they took pictures of all that, and they didn't figure it out right away what they had. But while I was in the ER, when I turned on my phone later after, the Salem Hospital refused to do anything, I could tell that there had been logins or attempted logins. I was getting notifications from Google that they had tried to log into my account, and they couldn't because I had two-factor authentication on it. And so then they start doing all these, oh, where are you? Where are you? Where are you? So the next day I basically said, this is the thing. I would make a horrible undercover agent because I just tell whatever I know. Like, this is the thing. It makes me so mad. I'm like, I'm just going to confront you. I know you're being shady in what you're doing. It doesn't work that way. They don't, if somebody's sketchy doing those things to begin with, they're not going to tell you, you can't have an honest conversation with dishonest people, basically. So anyway, I said, I know what you're doing. I want you to stop. I want you to I want those documents returned. And then anyway, there were two things that were tells that they had been involved the whole time. Number one was my brother made a comment, and I knew he had been impersonating, by the comment I knew he had been impersonating some of the Afghans in my WhatsApp group with them. Why? I know, it's just, despicable. I don't know what else to say, but when you decide that you're going to steal, because this is the thing, I can tell just by what all's been going on. In 2015, there was supposed to be an inheritance that came to me from my birth parents. I don't know what they did, but they somehow, I think, made it seem like other people were me. Like, I think they had Mary Newton impersonating me at first. I can tell this which is my brother's mother-in-law, from how they've been hacking my Google photos, and then on my dad's, his contacts, the picture of me didn't even look like me. It looked like a morph of me and Mary Newton. So I don't know what all, but the reason they decided that I shouldn't have something that was left to me, and so they decided to steal it for themselves. The crazy thing is that I'm not like them. If I had something, I actually had a dream about this. It was in 2015 when I was getting, this is right before I entered the apologetics program. And I came back to Oregon. I came back in 2015 just by myself. And then I came back in 2016 for my brother's wedding to Teresa Newton. But anyway, in 2015, right before then, I had this dream that I was going up this river with my family, and all along the side of the river were all these buildings that said Silico. We're going up the river super fast. And I felt like that was what God was saying, that was what was coming. Well, it did, but family decided that what God and other people had decided should come to me shouldn't, and have been basically been hiding that, deceiving it. And then it just has, I think when I started doing videos in 2019, then they had to bring more people into it to hide it. So, because it's very obvious, I think they even said I was dead at one point. I mean, just from things that I've seen, I think that's part of what they've done. But anyway, and that's all related to the sketchy probates that I've been seeing posted in the Keizertimes. So that all was happening, right? But anyway, it's just, I found when I was sitting at the credit union talking to the police officer, I said, I know that he has had accounts impersonating me. And so I pulled out, I had one on TikTok that I could tell that I said, well, this is it. I think he's been running these, fake accounts of other people too. I don't know. I mean, just the amount of criminal activity and disgusting behavior is just shocking to me. So anyway, and they didn't do anything about it. I mean, they took the report, but they didn't actually do anything about that identity theft, right? So anyway, so he had the comment, like I could tell that he had been in the WhatsApp group. And then my sister-in-law said, she made a comment that made it obvious that she knew I had just been at the Salem hospital. I didn't tell them where I was going. I didn't want them to know where I was going. And the other times I had gone opposite direction up to Tualatin. So unless if they were the ones that had the hack phone or were collaborating with the people who were, there would have been no way that they would have known. So anyway, when I first met Jerry, used to be over restorative services at Simonka Place. I can't remember. She moved somewhere to like Missouri or something. I don't know where she moved to. But anyway, I told her that. Oh, shoot. And I told her more of the story, right? And then it just seemed, I didn't really, it's so much and it's so overwhelming. I mean, I literally have thousands of pages I've submitted in reports to authorities. And, I've done tons of videos on it. So it's a lot. So I don't tell the whole story the whole time, every single time, because it's not really relevant to everything. And it shouldn't have been relevant coming to Simonka Place. It's like, literally, I am fleeing from domestic abuse. Someone trying to kill you is the definition of domestic abuse. And so, anyway, according to, we'll get into this. So that was what was going on. But this, I'm just going to go back and read the letter. Let's see. Okay. So, so that's why I was talking about, that my family knew I had been at Salem Hospital in my last communication with them on October 8th, when I explicitly told the intake hospital staff that I did not want my family to know that I was there. The fact that they knew exactly where I was additional proof to me that they were either directly mirroring my phone or that they were in collusion with those who did. I told an abbreviated summary to Kim. She's over restorative services now, but she was in something else at the time. And you, I'm speaking to Brenda, have heard the ongoing online war with the continuing sabotage and hacks of my online accounts and devices. When I came to Simonka Place, I had nothing but the clothes I was wearing and my backpack containing my hack laptop, a binder of personal documents, and working notebooks. What I have needed since I came in October 2024 was a phone that was not compromised, a laptop they didn't have the device ID on that they could hack, and a paying job that wasn't dependent on the hacked laptop and compromised accounts. I've received clothes, meal, and a place to sleep at Simonka Place. I'm still working off of a hack laptop, and every time that I've gotten another phone to attempt to have a means of actual communications, that phone also gets compromised in one way or another. I've gotten a prepaid phone 5 different times since October, one of which I know for certain was locked down after the card with the, I don't know if I'm, is it EIMI number of the phone was stolen out of my backpack in my room at Simonka Place, which was then left at the front desk with my name on it. Like, hey, let's not be obvious. It's like, okay, yeah, again, we're going to go take the information that we need so we can basically lock down communications and then put it back because then, oh, that's not actually stealing. But the thing is, it has no use to me. It might as well have just been totally stolen because I can't use it for communications. Okay. My attackers did not stop when I left my family's home in Woodburn. As soon as they discovered I was at Simonka Place, they began sending people in and bribing people for who all knows what. Jacqueline Russo told me that there was someone giving people at Simonka Place gift cards, and considering the fact that Sharon had my dad's scooter parked in room 103, I'm assuming my brother, Brian Salee, maxed out the credit line on his house, paying people to destroy me, and had to resort for bartering for bribes. This is no joke. Literally, the room I was in, I mean, they're so obvious. They're really not that great of actors. I mean, I think they're a bunch of con artists being brought in, but they're really not that great of actors. And I literally think that that's what my brother had to do because this older woman, had my dad's scooter in the room parked in there. Can you believe this crap? Anyway. This is a situation that I have been living under. What should have been a safe place, a shelter and a refuge, was turned into yet another situation where I had to be on guard at every moment. I have to carry my backpack with me everywhere I go, in the dining room, to the shower room, to the chapel, because I have had lipstick stolen out of it when I was at the dining bar, and my back was turned and things rifled through when I was in chapel. This is true. And that's not even part of it. I mean, it has been nonstop and continuous. When I was in room 106, someone tried making calls on one of my hack phones during the time when the room was supposedly locked. This is true. All of it is too long to list, but just as I have documented all the sabotage and hacking of my devices and platforms, I have documented everything that has happened while I have been at Simonka Place. You have the right to determine who can be at Simonka Place, but you do not have the right to make false statements about my actions. That I have been non-compliant is false. I have complied with everything asked of me. I have done my assigned chores every week since I arrived. So this is the thing. They have, like, according to bed number, you're supposed to do a certain chore, either vacuum or do the bathroom. Okay. Doing them for 2 rooms in 1 week in the week that I was moved. I have been in 3 different rooms since I arrived, and other than Cassie Knowlton, there has not been a single other roommate that could have been said that it was true of. In the room I'm currently in, C103, I can count on my fingers the number of times my roommates collectively have done a single chore, let alone both for the week. Not even joking. When I mop the bathroom floor, the floor is literally black. I don't even know what the deal is. They'll go when they run out of toilet paper, they'll go and do it. That's it. One of them will pull the vacuum into the room, doesn't actually vacuum. I don't know. I mean, I don't get involved in it because, number one, when I realize that people are involved in the plot against me, I don't talk to them anymore. It's like, I see you, I know who you are, I'm not engaging, and I'm not getting involved with other people's weirdness. Okay. And the claim that I have not looked for work is so ludicrously absurd that it rises to the level of slander. I do nothing but work and work under opposition. As Simonka Place does not provide internet access to residents and I don't have phone service, I've had to subscribe to cloud Wi-Fi, which is blocked in most areas of the Simonka Place building. It is a deliberate and targeted block. The Wi-Fi connection shows a strong signal, but when I connect, I don't have internet. I have to sit on the floor of the chapel to connect to this paid Wi-Fi to be able to do anything. And that's not all of it. I know this for a fact. This is the thing. I didn't put this on there, but I have, I can tell when somebody brings in a device, it's being used basically as a relay to hack my device. There have been moms that have had their kids come by me with those things. I can tell because my laptop starts clicking, and what they do is they click on it, and so they can get into, I don't know, but it's very obvious when it happens. My laptop or my iPad isn't even connected to internet, and it will start going off, when they're clicking through to get access. Nonstop. This crap has been nonstop. Okay. Obviously, all those daily chapel services really aren't doing much good. Anyway. Not only was when my hacked phone that I used for nothing other than for the Authenticator app was stolen out of my backpack on Sunday, July 27th, when I stupidly left it in the room. Within 2 hours, the password on my Fastmail account had been changed. I post about it on Twitter and remove all the MX records for the domain name so no one can send out emails impersonating me, and the password is changed back, only to be changed again when I try to remove those emails to move them to another Fastmail account. So I went off Fastmail entirely, and what I discovered is that my emails, even apart from the hacking, my emails have been embargoed. So I hadn't been getting them. Anyway, this is a true story, and I did a video about it. And the phone did show up. Okay, let me read it. Because there's more. Not only was my Fastmail account with my emails accessed, but the Square account, the one which is connected to a site where I have books for sale, that Square account was also accessed. That Square account was so corrupted with the settings deleted that I had to deactivate it and open up a new account. This is one of the methods where I would be able to receive payment for my work, but that was deactivated and blocked. I mean, I deactivated it, but what had happened was it had been connected before, right? I set this up like years ago, and I haven't really been worrying about it because I have so many other things to worry about. That's just one in this long string of things. And anyway, they got into that since they had the phone. I don't know if they cloned it or what they did, but anyway, they got into that. Who knows what else? I haven't even gone through all the accounts that are on that Authenticator app because that literally can take days. I mean, it's just, I get things secured, and then I have some wenches that are being paid off to basically sabotage me and go in behind me. Anyway, so I've been working to okay, let's see. Let me go back to this. This is not the full extent of the sabotage, but I mentioned these two things as an example and proof of the access of the codes on my device. Yes, the phone was returned, and it was put in a place where I don't put my phone. It's like, they're so messy. It's like, oh, I'm sure that they put it there so they can make it seem like, oh, you just misplaced it. No, I mean, I'm not hacking my own accounts. Okay, it's obvious that was taken and given to somebody that was using it to access my stuff. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to do it. Okay. Let me see. Okay. So other than meals and chapel, I'm constantly working to restore the sabotage and defacing my enemies have done in my prior work. So I have a representative portfolio because every job in the field I have been in for the past 20 years asked for one in the application. That's literally the only reason that I found a lot of this stuff that they had destroyed and defaced was because I was putting together, a work portfolio for applications. Literally the only reason that I found some of this stuff. Anyway, I am working to secure the sites of and communications with the few remaining clients I had because they've jacked with my stuff so much I've lost clients. And I've been working at the Keizertimes since March because you told me that was a condition of staying at Simonka Place. So I work for 12 hours a week. So do the math. So that is 48 hours in a month to stay at a shelter where they already get funding for me to be there. Okay? Yeah. So even though it takes the majority of 3 business days, leaving only 2 further efforts, my time at Keizertimes has been a blessing. As I shared with you previously, those 12 hours a week are a break from having to focus on all the malicious sabotage those frenemies have done. However, as for furthering career goals, as I told Les Yates when I met him for the first time on Tuesday, which I did. Les he lives in Eastern Oregon, so I've been working there all this time. Last Tuesday was the first time I met him. There is no job at the Keizertimes that would provide me with experience that I didn't already have. This is true, and this is not ego. This is just the truth. I've sold advertising and sponsorships, networked with community, built and run events from the ground up, created ads, done layouts for magazines, programs, and books, and edited for content and copy. Seriously, every single job in that place. I could do the bookkeeper's job too, because I've done that as well. I've done all of those things. It's not like I'm learning stuff. I mean, other than discovering how shady attorneys launder money through fake public notices. Okay. The only area that would provide an expansion to my existing skill set is being taught to write from a journalistic perspective. I write from a marketing perspective to persuade someone to my point of view. If I had the opportunity to receive guidance and feedback from the legendary Les Yates, and he's like very well known in investigative journalism in Oregon, that would be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. This letter is just a restatement of the facts. I have not only had friends steal from me and try to frame me for their crimes, but also make false statements about me. I will not stand by passively again and allow any further false statements to be made about me to stand. If I hear that anyone at Simonka Place has made the claim that I was non-compliant or refused to look for work, I will consider that defamation of character and act accordingly. As multiple authorities have refused to take action on reports I have made about the attacks against me, my only defense is the truth. My experience at Simonka Place will be my story. Take that as you will. So anyway, was there a response? The response was that the person who boosted my phone was, she left. She left that day. I sent this in the morning when I came back. They tried to make it seem like, she was coming back, but she left on Friday. She was gone. That was the only response. No other response to that. So that's fine. Here's the thing. I haven't said a lot of things while I was still there. I'm not there anymore. Not there anymore. So that is not a deterrent for me just saying the things that I think. So here's the deal. Like I said, I am, this is what happened that Saturday. Here. Why am I not, this doesn't look very well on there. Hold on. So this is what happened on July 27th. I've literally been carrying my backpack everywhere I went. But do you see that purple shirt on there? So here's the deal. I can tell that's my shirt. I got up and I saw it laying there and I was like, you have got to be freaking kidding me. This is my mistake. I left the backpack because I wasn't really thinking that the person that was still in there, Heather, was like hard. I'm going to say her name because I know it's not a real name anyway. It wasn't like hard, just get paid or something if they can like get information. So anyway, I go up and and Brenda was there that day. I said, people were in my locker. I want them out of it. And she's like, well, nobody can get into your locker unless if, you gave them the code because only staff has it. Yeah. So I didn't give them the code. So obviously staff gave it to them. I've had people in and out of my freaking locker since I got those things. Those lockers are complete. It's a joke. It's a complete joke. Do you want to know what the code was originally? It was your birthday and year, or birth month and year. Anybody can get that for anybody off of social profiling, even if they didn't have somebody feed it to you. But I had this whole thing where they're like changing it. It was just this whole long thing. So finally, this was when Jerry was still there. She changed it to something else. She had in her phone. So yes, I did not give it to anybody. And I'm positive that staff gave it to them because I don't think that it's only people that are there that are involved in this. I have had mail returned. I've had my replacement PayPal debit card that was sent to me. I never received it. It was stolen out of the mail. it was activated and charges were attempted against it. I have 2 police reports at the Keizer Police about this. Then last week, lo and behold, I have to create a new Square account because I don't even know what they did to it, but it was just not even fixable. There's going to be information coming there, which is going to go to Simonka Place. So if I don't get that again, so I'm not there. Obviously, there was no response to this letter, other than they kicked out. I don't know if they told her to leave or what, but anyway, the person that stole the phone is gone. But anyway, I had taken that up and I said, I'm tired of this. I have had people in literally every single day. I can tell somebody is going through my stuff. And so I went back and then that's when, I didn't realize right away that my phone was gone. But when this is Sunday morning, went down to TNT, I'm pulling something out, looking, and I realized that phone's gone. And so I left the class, went into Broadway Coffee, and I start working through stuff. And then my connection starts. I mean, these jackasses, literally, it's like, if they know where I'm at, they'll block my internet connection. This just happened. So anyway, but that's what I spent all day on, was going back and forth, finally realizing that, fast mail was basically not a good thing, which ended up being, a blessing in disguise, because if I hadn't have moved completely off of fast mail, I would have never known that they were embargoing my my emails before I got them through fast mail. And with all the other stuff, like my propaganda and government corruption, where they stole my and plagiarized my No Fear devotional, and all the authorities, the FBI that I've reported things to, and they haven't even given me a report number, let alone doing anything. I mean, some of the things I was just realizing that day is that Fast Mail is an Australian company, and so, government officials, like the ones that, I am sure are behind some of the harassment, the FBI, they could have been the ones blocking my email from coming to me. So anyway, so I'm just going to show you a few things about, how some of this stuff is related. So this is this doesn't go on here. Oh yeah. And then just as I'm logging in, they had another, they prompt additional logins, and then they log in with a Mac. So they did this on here. I had to log out of my legacy marketing account because they had somehow kind of tunneled in, sort of, and were able to get a Mac sign on. So I had to literally sign out of it to be able to get them off of this device. But this is what I'm talking about. I can tell when things have been hacked, because this is what I'm saying, that the iPad will have screenshots, and that where the keypad is, I have one of them where you can see where they're entering. I don't know how they've gotten my my security code or my PIN code, unless they're just like creeping on through the security cameras. But anyway, I can tell every time that there's a hack, because there's this whole string of things like that, So I know that there's people in the room that have these devices. It was very obvious to me yesterday, like as soon as one person came in, my internet connection shuts down. I mean, they're basically the one carrying the device that is being, used to block my communications, which, by the way, is a federal felony. Anyway, not that I expect anything out of this, but so what's the deal? So, like I said, I can tell that there have been people who have been impersonating me, and I can tell who it is by how they jack my photos. So I know from the photo on, or the contact photo on my dad's contacts, that it would look like a morph between me and Mary Newton. I mean, she's like 5'2". I mean, if you saw either of us together, you would never confuse the two. But if you don't know somebody, right? And if somebody just comes up and says, "Oh, this is so and so," why would you question it, right? Especially if it's family that's telling you, the person's family that's telling you that. Why would you question it? And then they had, I know, again, this is how they were hacking my Google Photos. I know Alicia Mello was another one that they had impersonate me in Texas. I'm pretty sure that, well, I know Annie Crawford was, and I think that Jasmine Biggs was maybe too. I don't know, because I know that they, I don't know if you can watch this, because when I try to go back and watch my video about the last one I uploaded that I actually recorded in June about my friends who stole from me, they were, forging my name, impersonating me, saying that I was involved with them. And I know who the clients are because of the things that they sabotaged. So they would say that I was involved with a project, right? Like a book writing project or something. And then I would do a video about the book, and I would, there would be things I'd criticize about it, and it would make it obvious that I was not part of it. It'd make their lie obvious. So they delete transcripts, literally delete transcripts. So, it's not as likely to come up in the relevant videos. So anyway, who all knows? I don't know. But for the people at Simonka Place, I'm just going to show you this. So these are pictures. So the picture on the left is a picture of me. And I think, it does look like me. The picture on the right is a photo that I took with, I actually took this photo, but it doesn't look like me, does it? No, it doesn't. They were hacking, and it looked like that as I took it. They didn't go back afterwards and alter the photo. They took the picture. As I took the picture, that's what it looked. They were, I don't know how they do it, but it's like some sort of, like you go on videos and there's some sort of filter, right? That you look like something else. They're doing that to my camera, so I look like somebody else. This doesn't really look like, the middle, the one to, like, in between me that you're seeing me in the video and the other in the red. It looks kind of like me, but not really, right? So this was our morph trying to make their Catherine impersonation look like me. Doesn't really look like her, doesn't really look like me, but this is their morph of the two. And this is how one of the ways they're trying to fake it, right? Okay, this next one also is taken within a few days of each other. Does that look like me? Kind of, not really, right? This is a morph of me and Victoria. It doesn't look like Victoria either. And I feel comfortable saying that because I know that those are not their real names. I'm sure that it's not. Catherine, I think, has been, they've been setting her up to try to replace me since 2023. I have pictures on my iPad, well, it was on my iPad, so they're in my Google Photos. I was at the Kingdom Citizens class, and Brenda Banks, one of the fellow members, she asked me if I could take pictures. She said they were of her family. So she's Black. Catherine's Black. And I was like, oh, okay. So I took pictures and then I sent them to her. I thought it was weird at the time because she had an iPad, or she had an iPhone. So why, same difference, right? Hers was probably newer than mine. But I think that was basically a setup because one of the people involved, which in this whole deception on multiple levels, Drew Tipton, I think he probably, I don't know. But anyway, it just doesn't seem to take much for people to be corrupt and still out. They think it's just this little thing. But all these little things, they're compiling to build up a lie, right? So they can steal my life and steal my identity. Anyway, so that one's Catherine. This one is Victoria. And again, it doesn't look like either one of us, but I'm assuming that this is as close as their fake impersonation can make. Not only, this is the thing, not only on video, Okay, I've mentioned this before. You know those I don't even know the name of the movie, but the Tom Tom Cruise movies where they do masks and impersonate people. That's what they're doing. There's a whole crime ring around here with identity theft, and part of the way that they get away with it is they must have. I was just thinking about this. I don't know if you've ever read The Wizard of Oz, but there's one of the books. It's like either the second or third, because there's a whole series where there's kind of this evil queen, and she has all these heads of women in this whole room full of heads. That's what I'm imagining they have. They just have wigs for different things, different masks that you can create them with 3D printers. Like I said, you can get voice modulators for $20 on eBay. So if they're going around, somebody doesn't really know somebody, right? Then they're not going to know the difference between the two. So just like this one crew, I think they had about 4 different people that they were, I think different factions had, because I think they were working together to try to steal my identity. And then when I came to Simonka Place, they had all these other people there. I think there were different factions, had different people. Like I think my family was trying to get Tammy to pass. So here's the thing. They all left. Like after I did my unfakeable video, they all left Simonka. They were gone. Tammy showed up a few weeks ago, and nobody said anything. But I'm thinking that is not her. I mean, the person that walked in. So the actual Tammy is shorter than me, and the person that was impersonating her was taller than me, and had about a third more body weight than. I mean, it's like a whole third more person than Tammy actually is. It was not her. There's also been somebody, I'll show you this in a minute. But anyway, so that's been going on, right? This is identity theft on a massive level, and not just, taking people's cards, but, literally stealing their whole person identity. This is what they're doing. So this is another photo. So this is what I'm talking about. So this is a picture of me. I have this off-white cardigan. This picture of me, and then there was this whole thing one Sunday where I had just laid the cardigan down on the bed, turn around, it's gone. Couldn't find it. And then, here it's. I took pictures in the bathroom. The one place I didn't put it. Or take a picture of there, suddenly it shows up like, you just misplaced it. It's literally, but this whole thing so that Victoria would be showing up at Salem Alliance in a cream cardigan, and I wouldn't. Hers is not anything like mine, but you can see, right? I don't know if you can tell. Her hair's in a ponytail. You can just see this kind of more of a crochet type cardigan. So anyway, a couple weeks ago, it wasn't last Sunday, but the 27th, when my phone was stolen, because I was going down and I'm walking, into Broadway Coffee, going to set up my stuff, just try to secure my accounts, and then supposedly Victoria's standing in the line. Oh, hi, Carla. And okay, first of all, her face was like completely different shape. Her body is different, right? It's like Victoria's butt is a lot bigger than mine. Every time she wore my leggings, she'd rip out the seam and I'd have to sew them up again. Anyway, body was different. Personality was different. I wasn't up in the room when she was there, but anyway. So then again, she's there. Same person, and you know what it looked like. The shape of the face looks like this little twit that's been following me around Salem. That was actually just sat down by me during the when I was waiting for the sheriff's sale on July 21st. The fraudulent one where they stole an entire house. Anyway, so that's the shape of the face she had. So anyway, she shows up again. She's just in there. It's like the facial features, it's like they did an adjustment to them, because again, I said this in my phone, like I did a note. I'm like, it's totally not her. I mean, and so they did adjustments, but it's still like the cheeks of her face are like totally not Victoria's. Also, the shape of her face is different. Victoria has a longer face. This person is like rounder. The person that she's walking by getting snacks. I mean, Victoria did not do this. She did not chew like a cow. I mean, it's just not. The personality was different. I mean, how she responded to things, it was just different. I mean, I don't think anybody else would have, you know, it's close enough that if you're not on guard or aware of all, you know, the level of fakeness, deception, and fraud that's going on, you wouldn't necessarily know. But since I'm on guard, I'm like, yeah, that's not her. Because the reason I questioned it to begin with is that the last time I had seen her, she came on the 27th, also on what day would it have been? On Sunday. The last time I'd seen her before that, she looked really bad. I mean, like, she looked like I looked when my family was poisoning me. And when she didn't show up for the next couple of weeks, I was like, wonder about that. So anyway, I have a video I recorded a couple months ago now. It was in June, about how to get away with murder. And I streamed this on Twitter. I have yet to upload it on YouTube and Rumble and the others. That's the thing. If you can't watch my videos here, then go to Rumble or Odyssey, because like I said, I've noticed that playback on my videos gets stalled. But anyway, if somebody doesn't know that someone's missing, they still see them, you know, supposedly this person out walking around, right? You have to have a body to be, most of the time, to be able to prove a murder. And if you don't even know that, you know, that person is not around, how would you? Yeah, I guarantee you that's how they're doing it. Anyway, but the thing that was really obvious was, it's like they're going off a copy of a copy. So Victoria is trying to mimic me here, right? In that this crew, they're hacking they must just have like a checkout system or something for my Google Photos. I don't know, but it was very obvious to me from what the person was wearing on July 27th that they had seen this picture of Victoria in my photos, and that's what they were modeling it off of. They didn't know that hers was a cardigan. The person wearing it just had a short one, and they had her hair in a ponytail. And this is a big tail. So when she said something to me, she's like, I said, "Oh, you have bangs," because Victoria didn't have bangs. And she's like, and it was just this look, and she's like, "Oh yeah, I trimmed them." She didn't have them at all before. And she's like, "Oh, and I trimmed like 5 inches off my length." You know, I'm like, yeah, let's just be honest. Anyway, so those are gone, right? But she's still showing up. So I don't know if they think they're going to be pulling her in they think they're going to be able to still pull off an impersonation or something. But then, you know, things are still going on, right? And literally people are still going through my stuff. And so one of my roommates has been supposedly having class at Simonka Place by video for this would be the 3rd week, right? So the last few weeks. And on one of them, this is the thing. I know that they're trying to run people impersonating me, right? And I know that there's people at Simonka Place that are involved. And so there was one day when I had been meeting with the, you know, as part of my health benefits, I can meet with a counselor. And I had been meeting with Mac, the counselor, for, you know, since I got there. And so anyway, Brittany, the set, came to me and said, who is like the RN or something, I don't know, she schedules stuff, that there had been a mistake and that somebody else had been scheduled in my time, which was, I do it at 9 o'clock in the morning. I had been doing it on 9 o'clock in the morning on Wednesdays. And she said, can you do it in an afternoon? We have Tuesdays and Thursdays. And so I said, well, I could do it Tuesday at 2. Well, this was the first day that this roommate had that class. And it was just the other thing. It's just like, just a multitude and just acting sketchy. And it just, again, this has been going on for, that I've been aware of it for, where are we at? Like a year and a half now. And so it's like, number one, you may lie a lot, but you're a horrible actor. And again, they just run the same plays over and over again. And so I thought, you know what? That was July 15th. I'm not going to be at Simonka Place because what I was sure of was that those video calls were some sort of impersonation of me. Either like, because I've submitted, you have no idea how much I have submitted to different authorities, to the FBI, to multiple police departments, to Crime Stoppers, to the Department of Justice, to the U.S. Marshals. And it's not just like people stealing my identity. I mean, there's massive, massive criminal activity that I've reported that nobody's ever contacted me about. And I was like, you know what? You've led me here to rot. And I'm positive that they were thinking that they were just going to basically warehouse me in this shelter where literally like anybody can come in. I'm sure people are like, obviously they're jacking with the videos. It's like that. If their logic was that was a safe house for, to protect somebody who has like very, valuable information, that is literally the most sexist and misogynistic thing I've ever heard in my life. Because I guarantee you, if somebody had a penis for even like a fraction of the things I've reported, they'd have them, off somewhere completely protected. And here I am, like literally daily have people in my stuff, and I can't even. It is so creepy. That's why I said I think they must have a Slack channel, like, oh, here, yeah, go see where she gets off the bus, and here's $20 or something. I don't know. It's like a whole little cottage industry of creeps. It's literally what it is. I mean, even yeah. So, where was I going with this? So I thought, no, I'm not gonna be it. So that's what I thought was going on. I'm not gonna be there, so they can, basically track my phone to being at the building while this person is impersonating me on video. Not gonna do that. So I went to the Salem Library and I did the live stream about the launch of the Truth and Faith Arsenal for my daughter Taylor's birthday. So this is what that video looked like. You can go on my channel and see it. So bottom left was, that's what it looked like on my iPad. That wasn't an altar. That's literally what it streamed like. And then in the upper right, that's a photo. I think that was like the day before or something. Does that look like me? Kind of, right? And if it's streaming, so again, I think that this is a morph of the closest morph that they could get of the persons that they're running now, that they could get of me. Same person that's been bringing in Sabotage things, super, super like, I'm not even gonna get into it. Anyway, so let's just look at these. This is when I was supposed to be, they're trying to make Catherine look like she's me. This is a person, this is on my devices, right? I took this and I was like, what, and then this one. And you ask, who would do something like this? That's a good question, isn't it? Yeah. So anyway, I'm not going to say, hey, friends, because we're not friends. We've never been friends. You know, I had the people that stole everything from me. I felt like I had a friendship and relationship with them. I don't have that with anybody at Simonka Place. I could have had, but when I realized that they were starting, you know, that there were multiple people that's basically like, oh, hey, team, it's like so cool. We're all part of this little conspiracy. Yeah, we're not friends. So anyway, like I told Mac one time, I can, you know, the people that were friends, you know, they're middle class, upper middle class. They were in need of nothing, right? And they still tried to steal everything I have, everything I am, and destroy me. I don't get that. I mean, I don't, just even being, if you're even a halfway decent person, you don't do things like that. And especially not, you know, the friends. Literally, they make a living off of being a Christian or saying they are. You know, they do content and manage social media for big name influencers. They're the words behind, you know, the faces of the evangelical industrial complex. That's their gig, literally, is being a Christian. Okay, so I'm not even sure which one this is on. Yeah, obviously somebody's triggered. Which one am I on? This one? Okay. I don't know. Oh. Okay. So somehow they were able to access the restream and turn off the video. Let's see. Yeah, I have audio now. Yeah, that's what they did. Obviously somebody's triggered. It's too bad. If you don't like the truth, then change your behavior and the truth will be different. Yeah. So anyway, what I was saying was, you can go back and you can watch the last regular video that I published. I originally live streamed it to X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, in June, and didn't get it uploaded until like a week or so ago. And I name names and also display who is going to was part of that. And since we had this last little manifestation, whatever you want to call it, we're just going to go to that. So in that live stream, I put who was involved, but one was cut, and that one was Virginia de la Lastra. So we're just going to do a little feature here. And this is Virginia. If you're familiar with an unexpected journal, she did almost all of our covers. And so what this is I you know, I could tell by some of the it's basically money laundering that she was part of it. And so I was aware of that then. But I didn't know what exactly she was doing. I thought maybe she had just lied and was covering for her friends or something. I don't know. But I think she's actually helping them put out those plagiarized and crappy books, because if you go to, at least when I took the screenshot, if you go to the issues archive of an unexpected journal, these two right here, do you see this? This is what's listed as number one, or the first and second issue. And we did the Abolition of Man and the Power Story. Now, in one of my live streams, I shared that the even the archive.org for an unexpected journal had been manipulated, and I don't know why these are here. I don't know if it was because this cover was the one faked on archive.org, or if it's because they're redoing everything and that they didn't have the full originals, that the covers that I did, And so they're uploading these. I don't know. I don't know the reason, but these two covers are not the ones that I did. And they are, they took the artwork that Virginia did and they recreated them. But I'm thinking that it was Virginia that recreated them because she doesn't know typography. So this was the first issue. The one on the left is the one that I created, the Abolition Man. It's pretty simple, but I mean, at least you can read the cover type. Like this, do you see? I mean, this is just like amateurish. And so here's the thing. Virginia had, you can go and watch Holly Ordway's, our launch party for the issue we did on her, or did for her in honor of her. And Virginia didn't even draw at all until she was in the apologetics program. And then Holly Ordway encouraged her to, and she, started drawing and practicing. And you can see the progression of the development of her skill in the covers of the journal. So like this one here on the Abolition of Man, it's very different than one of the ones if you go to the end of the last one that she did. And for them, I think it was in, it would have been on Leisure. That was, I think, the last one she did for the journal. But here's the thing. She's been focusing on art, which is fine. But there's a whole other ranges of things to be concerned with when you're doing layouts, specifically for books. And when you're doing something for a book, typography is actually more important than the art behind it. What the title is going to look like kind of determines what the art can be. I mean, fonts have personality. So, and it's like she doesn't understand that. So I don't know. But anyway, then this is the other one. So you see this power story, you can't even see the title. And this is the one that I did. Again, it's not like, they're not like groundbreaking layouts or anything, but at least there's a little bit of a sense of the title should be a thing, right? So anyway, I started posting about this on Twitter, and those jackasses, you know what they did? They went hacked my device, hacked my laptop, and deleted my original files off of there that had, the whole layout, and planted these these horrific covers like I did them. On one of them, they deleted my cover folder entirely. So that's why I'm making a big deal about it. Not only that, but I included her in that, in the run of the photos of people involved. They cut that out of my video. They cut that out. So you go and sabotage my stuff to cover up your crime, Virginia? I mean, literally, if you took any pride in something, why would you try to, I don't know. I don't even understand this. But this is the thing. This is why I know it's her. So this is Zach Schmall's book, Disability and the Problem of Evil. The irony, right? Virginia did the art for that. And so, it's a really cool illustration. The rest of it's just not good. It's just not good at all. And I actually, when Zach showed me this, when they were putting it together, I did make a couple of comments, but the thing was, I've learned you cannot, if somebody doesn't want to listen to you, and if they like it, then, I'm not involved in it at all. And so I just didn't say anything else about it. But I can tell it's the same style, right? Do you see this? No sense of layout or typography. Yeah, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. And that's how I know that Virginia is involved. And I don't know, what the deal is. If there just must be service providers out there to go and hack and sabotage to try to cover up the fact that, I don't know if it was they were trying to say I did that crap, or if they're just mad because I said it's crap, and so they're planning it on my computer. I don't know. Did not do that shit. Anyway, excuse my language. It make me really mad. So Anyway, yeah, it's just never ending. But what I was saying was, before they cut the, or I guess they didn't cut the feed, they just cut the, turned off the video. They weren't in need, right? They had middle class, upper middle class, but still, they're a bunch of criminals and crooks. I can understand, people at Simonka Place being, they're in a precarious situation and being pressured into doing it, but that would mean either they're just being bribed outside, but if they're being pressured into doing it, that means that there's people at Simonka Place that are staff, they're involved in that. So, and the fact that there wasn't a response to that, my letter tells me, I mean, I knew this before. I knew this before that there was staff involved. So anyway, and probably not just at Simonka Place, probably in UGM too, because, and the reason I say this is because they had that singing mayor, Kathy, that was, what's her name? Kathy Roy or whatever her name is, that was very obviously auto-tuned. Oh my gosh. Dude, what the heck? Yeah, there's like layers of deception, layers of loser. I just, there's so much. There's so much. But anyway, going back to, I'm going to wrap this up. So anyway, I'm not at Simonka Place anymore because they kicked me out. And I'm just putting this out there because I ever hear anybody that say that I was not non-compliant or not looking for work, I will file. I will do defamation of character, and you will never hear the end of it. That is a promise. Here's the thing. I know that I'm not the only person that has been at that place and has had their identity stolen. Quite frankly, I think it's a complete racket of, I've seen people come in and they were waiting for documents. And when you combine that with all the fake probates going through, or not fake probates, but the fake public notices, I guarantee you, because there's collusion there. I mean, there is. I guarantee you that there's some people that are at Simonka Place that are getting fake documents so that they can go and claim these other like estates or whatever. I guarantee you I've heard enough. I know that that's what's going on. The brazenness of this didn't just pop up when I came in October. Guarantee you, it did not. So, and actually, here's the thing. This is just, it's like so unbelievably lame. Like I said, I had my lipstick stolen out of my backpack when was in the dining room and it was up, at the buffet, and wasn't even there that long. Turn my back and it's gone. I've had underwear stolen out of my stuff, then put back in, shoved somewhere else. And then the last thing is that they've been, this person that's been impersonating me, at least one Victoria impersonating me, she would steal something and then she'd put it back. I don't know if it's the lipstick isn't so that I don't have it, or if the person impersonating me wanted to use it. I've had my hairspray stolen. It's like, get your own. Using my curling iron, because the person's messy and doesn't have any sense of order. And every single time, like, I would go back and, because I don't use it every day, the latch would be open. And I could tell that they were like rifling through stuff. And when I saw that purple shirt out, I'm thinking that's the only thing that I have that she could even remotely wear. So I took it with me. And I'm hoping that they were, because I can tell they've been practicing at night, impersonating me. And I think they had literally must have taken like the whole organizer out or just rooted through it, because it was that Sunday on the 27th, complete entire mess, total mess. It took me 15 minutes to reorganize everything, besides the fact that they left the shirt out. And so I thought, screw this, I'm just gonna take it with me. and y'all can like try to figure out how to impersonate me with something else. So anyway, but then she's been using my makeup too. And it's like, and leaving the lid off, so like making it obvious. So I started taking that with me. And then here's where it gets really interesting. So there's two of them that I think are working together. I think one's being impersonating me, and the other one, I think she probably has AB blood type, because that's a whole other thing. The Megan Monty at JD Health had told me, oh, get this, and this, including second dose of a COVID booster that I had back in 2021, I think, to make our immunity profiles look more close together. Anyway, so I started taking it with me, and then and she's never in the shower room when I'm there, and so I had a case, or I started putting the things in. So person number 2 comes in, and she sees me put this in my organizer, right? And then I put it in, has just started taking extra with me, like anything I thought that they might be using to try to impersonate me, I've just been taking with me. And then the next day I go and I'm looking for the foundation, and it's gone. And I had just had it I had just put it in there the day before, and I had not left it anywhere. And I'm thinking, okay, the only place that I was was at the Keizertimes. And so, and then, yeah. And so I'm thinking, okay, so person number 2 was there, watched where I put it, told I'm thinking it's either Robin or Christine, the bookkeeper, and told them where it was to get it, because I had also noticed that the things in my wallet were jammed back in not right, and nothing was gone. But I think what they need to do is to find out how much stuff they have to fake. I think that's what it is. But anyway, so there's collusion there. This is all connected. Like when I went down on Monday to the courthouse, and I have a picture of him. There was this person that I'm sure was somehow, I couldn't even, my phone wasn't on, but it was should have been charging, wouldn't charge. And then I see him coming back on the way there. I got a picture of him that time. But it's like they had tagged my phone somehow, and like anywhere within 2 blocks of the Marion County Courthouse, my phone wouldn't charge. It was like there was some radius thing set, which is crazy, right? So, but the thing is, this there's so much fraud going on. And what Robin said was, I said their subscription system is just very archaic. I said there was like a system, like a regular content management program, you wouldn't be having these problems, And she said, this system's been in place for a decade. It's not going anywhere. And I was thinking, a decade is when I think that, my whatever was left to me was fraudulently diverted. And maybe this is just a thought, maybe that it was so successful, or they thought it was, that they expanded the operations, because there's a lot of public notices going through that paper that I can tell that are not, that they're fraud. So here's the thing. This is one that came in, I can't tell that it was basically, if you look at this, it's very obviously fraudulent, because the from and to is both from legals at Keizertimes. So very obviously that was not from somebody else, right? It's like, and this is the other thing I've noticed, it's like, I do think there's some sketchy attorneys involved, but I think sometimes something will come in, right? And then another one is sent in right behind it. And so I think it could be a few things. I think it could be It could be that they're sketchy attorneys. That's one thing. I think it could also be staff at like a legal assistant or some place, someone at these attorneys' offices, because one time somebody called and asked to pay by credit, pay an invoice before it had been sent out. So like the invoice wouldn't get to the office, right? And then the other thing could be, it could be completely fake too. I mean, it could be like this, very obviously was not coming from somewhere else. It was sent from the Keizertimes, from legals at the Keizertimes to the Keizertimes. So anyway, and then just, like I said, I'm beyond caring, and these people have been, part of trying to destroy me for a very long time, and I'm done. So the person that is doing the legals now is, his name is Justin. But one time, a long-time advertiser came in, and he said, he thought he was Andrew. He's like, no, I'm not Andrew. He was a couple people from me. So there was this guy, Andrew Jackson, who had been there for a long time. And then there was somebody else named Logan Turbs, who was there, I'm not sure how long. And then Justin supposedly came in November of 2024. Well, here's the thing. I actually think that Justin is Andrew Jackson. I don't think that this picture here, this is a poster that's up at Simonka Place. He looks a lot like, Justin looks a lot like whoever this person is, which I have no idea. I think this is a new persona. I don't know if the sketchy public notices had been investigated before, and so there was this big shift. I don't know, but a week or so ago, the reporter Riley came in, and Justin went over to give something to him, and I don't know what happened, but I don't know if Riley had something that was caused some sort of interference and disruption, but Justin's voice totally changed. I mean, it was completely different. And whatever modulator, whatever thing was on there, you could tell it was obvious that there was an altering being done. Also, he said things that he talks about, oh yeah, we did this in 2022, when he wasn't there until 2024. So anyway, there's a lot of sketchy stuff going on. Like I said, I don't think it's just, I think that there's a few things going on. I think that this is just basically, the Keizertimes is a really small distribution. And so the public notices are less many, and they're also is less likely to be found, right? And I think that's part of it. And I also think that a lot of it has to do with less being targeted. I do think that that's the case, because it's not just, you could be running a sketchy paper and still, have a decent paper and have actual subscriptions. But when you have people who haven't been expired, either subscriptions not been expired, that expired like 3 years ago, there's something going on there. Also, one of the first projects I did for Les is he wanted letters to go out to everybody that were expired, and I think there were like 900 and something on the list, and by the time I got done cleaning them all out, it was down to 636 print subscribers. So I sent out about 300 letters. I sent them all out, and it took a while to get through. And Christine said, oh, here, I'll take them to the post office, and took big garbage bags full supposedly to the post office. I never saw any of those come back with payments. I also never saw any returned addresses coming back. I think maybe one or two. So out of 300, that's seems a little strange to me, especially when you have people that have called since and were like, oh yeah, I should have gotten the letter, that didn't know that they weren't getting a subscription. So anyway, all kinds of shadiness all over the place, and I do think that they're all related. And so here's the deal. You picked the wrong person to mess with when you decide you were going to try to steal my life and screw me over. So, oh, well, the other thing. Sorry, the sun's going down. I'm sure the light's probably weird. Here's the deal. This is another thing. I nobody's told me this, but I can just tell because of weird things people do, and they can continue to say the whole same thing all over and over again. There's been multiple times when people have said, oh, what about a book? What about your book? What about your book? I'm like, what are you talking about? I published a lot of books. But this is the thing. And you ask how I know this. It's just literally these losers have been forcing their crap on me nonstop for like close to 2 years now. I just recognize the stuff and I recognize the patterns. They have this, and this has been obvious since the beginning. They put a lot of, rather than, because they have no guidance because they're criminals, right? So they're not getting guidance from the Holy Spirit. So they're really into psychics. And I can tell that a psychic told them that I would write a book that would bring down their whole little house of cards. It's like, you nimwits, I already wrote it. It was my devotional that I wrote in 2019. #No fear. The one that y'all like completely plagiarized and published on YouVersion. The thing that like made me realize the whole content theft thing to begin with. That book. That is the book. Okay, this is a perfect example of why you're not supposed to go to psychics, because here's the thing, it's demonically inspired, and God knows everything that will happen. And sometimes psychics can see a little bit, but they don't know for sure the thing that will happen. And sometimes not only that, but there's deliberate deception within it, right? This is why you don't go to psychics. I already published it. It was the #NoFear. That is the thing that led to me discovering all of this. That and the pathetic pick-me, Annie Crawford, hacking the crap out of me when I started calling out their stupid stock puppets. If they hadn't done that, would have never known, would have just been going on. If you hadn't stolen my book, #NoFear, and published that blasphemous and crappy devotional, I wouldn't have known about the content theft either. That was the thing. That was the thing that tied it all together. So anyway, if you would like to read #NoFear, you can go to my website, effusionmg.com, collections, Truth and Faith Arsenal, and I have packages on that. The thing is, when my phone was stolen and they got into that account, my Square account, they jacked the online payments. So depending on when you're watching this, it may or not, the online shopping cart may or may not work. But if you want a copy of it, you can just call me and I will be more than happy to sell it to you. You can call me at 281-408-2805, or you can send me an email at contact@raisedtowalk.org and say, hey, I want to buy this package, and I'll get it to you. You can also, if you like, you can donate on Venmo at Raise to Walk, or Chime, or Cash App at $ Raise to Walk. Anyway, that's what's going on. And like I said, I'm really done with losers, and it would be really, really great if y'all just realize that I wasn't lying and telling a story when I said that God told me how this ends. Was not lying about that, okay? And so either you think I was lying, which I'm not. At this point, you should realize all the attempts against me have failed and have only exposed you. maybe should catch a clue, or you're a real idiot and think that you're going to win against God. I don't know which one it is, honestly. And I don't really want to know, because I have a lot of stuff to do. I don't want to, I'm tired of like having to try to figure out losers. Okay. So, I just want to say, just so everything's clear. Okay. When I went to the sheriff's sale on Monday, so it would have been the 28th, I did go down there because nobody showed up at 10 o'clock. So I went down there. They told me it had been, the second property on Conaway Drive had been postponed until August 5th. So it'd be tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I did tell them, the Marion County Sheriff's Office, that the property that had been sold the week before on the 21st, that it was a fraudulent sale. It was entirely fraudulent. It was sold based on not even just the process was totally off, but it was sold based off of a fraudulent loan that wasn't an actual loan for that. And didn't say this in Marion County, but if you didn't want to see one of my other videos, I know why they're trying to steal it. There's Stone's Throw property in Salem, has 64 acres that back up to the property that was stolen on Fern Ridge. And I'm sure that the whole scheme is to get frontage road on Fern Ridge. Anyway, I did report that. I also reported it to, went down to, took the bus to Stayton to let them, they said it wasn't their jurisdiction. Went in, talked to Chief Copeland at Keizer, told him about it. He's like, I'm not sure who this is. It's not our jurisdiction. I don't agree, because the public notice was published in the Keizertimes where it shouldn't have been. And also these, Keizertimes has basically been made into a criminal nexus with these fraudulent postings. And that is in his jurisdiction. So anyway, that's that. And again, you want to support me in my work, you can donate directly at Raise to Walk on Venmo or on Cash App and Chime. Also, you can share this with your friends. I mean, feel free to like download it and like share it to somebody. Like I said, it's on YouTube, but the playback, it's blocked. It's on Rumble and it will be on Odyssey. So like sharing is very helpful because they jack my stats, block things. Anyway, so yeah, that's it. And again, if you want to read the Truth and Faith Arsenal, you can get it on Fusion MG, or just contact me directly. You just contacted me directly and you can get it. Oh, where's my number? Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. And we had a little bit of excitement with Lamos turning off the video, but yeah, we got through it anyway. And again, the tell is always in the response. So be good, don't be lame, and I'll talk to you next time.